The juggernaut was challenged in ways it hasn't over the past decade, but the juggernaut just cannot be halted. It's 17 Test Series wins in a row at home for India, and with it, a first Test Series defeat for Bazball. Welcome to ESPN Cricinfo Match Day. We're joined by Sanjay Manjrekar to look back on the Ranchi Test and also a famous series win for India. Sanjay, can't stress enough on the context of the series. India without Virat Kohli, without Rishabh Pant, without Mohammad Shami, without Bumrah in this game, without KL Rahul after the first test. They have been pushed by this English side like no team has pushed them in a long time. But for them to come out as victors, this ranks as a very special win in India's test history.
Yes, and tells you the health of Indian cricket. Just watching Dhruv Jurel and Shubman Gill, play those innings in a partnership that was crucial with the realization and, of course, the knowledge that had they got out early, India was on the verge of a defeat. So England was in a winning position at one stage. India was in a losing position, and it depended on the young guns to take India through. And in the first inning as well, and Kuldeep Yadav and Dhruv Jurel again getting those 76 runs, getting India back in the game. So that the win, came through some exceptional performances from the young brigade. I met Rahul Dravid very briefly after the match. He was beaming, with pride because it was the young players who did it for India.
Yeah, that in itself tells you so much of a story. Dravid's not one known for his beaming in general. But if we that India clawed back from the kind of positions they found themselves in both Rajkot as well as Ranchi, does it also goes to show the gulf in just the quality between the two teams as they are?
Yes, and it's something I'm actually finished writing an article on that same issue and the same point is that longer the game, more your core ability is tested. And that is where I think India is starting to win those little battles within the big battle. And it comes down to, for example, Dhruv Jurel and Kuldeep Yadav surviving so long at a crucial stage was purely because the bowling attack wasn't challenging enough. The spin attack wasn't challenging enough. So, yes, those little deficiencies that England have, the core weaknesses or limitations come to the fore in a long contest.
If we look at this series as well as the Ranchi Test itself, India have had to field a lot of debutants, not always by choice. Four debutants in this series, and with the exception of Rajat Patidar, you look at Sarfaraz, you look at Jurel, and you look at Akash Deep, what he did on the first morning of the Ranchi Test. Everyone's made telling contributions. This preparedness of debutants is a good reflection of where the Indian domestic system is, as well as a big thumbs up for the selectors who have put their faith in them?
I think I'll wait and see. Patidar, unfortunately, is actually the exception in these names that you mentioned. Sarfaraz Khan had a poor test match. Uh, the fact we have to be also very honest and truthful about the fact that uh, this is like a dream debut for any batter from India playing in home conditions and against the kind of spin attack that was there in the opposition. Seam and pace bowling is almost negligible. So that's a great way to make a transition from Ranji Trophy cricket to Test cricket. So that certainly helped. But taking no credit away from people like Dhruv Jurel, who played so well in the last game and showed the most important thing is that you see some basics in a batter and then the temperament. And I thought you saw plenty of that with Dhruv Jurel. We'll wait and see how Sarfaraz Khan evolves. Akash Deep clearly after the three, main Indian seam bowlers is certainly good enough to be fourth in line. Yeah, so some good outcomes through those debuts.
Right now, just focusing on the end bit of that game, we've already marveled on Dhruv Jurel's composure in the first innings, and he showed more of that in the second as well. But just on Shubman Gill, Sanjay, what will this knock mean for Gill? For a batter of his ability to just shelve his natural game, not hit a boundary for 119 balls, speaks to a temperament that can be lauded.
Absolutely. And I've said this before as well. And I'm always somebody who's trying to find an answer to these kind of things. It was a day to be proud of. And you can see the team management, Rohit Sharma as well, so proud in the way the youngsters play. Dhruv Jurel, Shubman Gill remain unbeaten to see India through. Shubman Gill has felt the pressure, playing on these kind of pitches. I think he'll be more at home on slightly faster, bouncier pitches for him to just hang in there right till the very end. So you saw mental toughness, which, I mentioned earlier in the series as well, when Shreyas Iyer and Shubman Gill got together in a partnership, you saw some mental toughness there. So people like Shubman Gill and also Dhruv Jurel, I just wonder whether there is this huge generation and number of young India players coming from small towns, very aspirational, looking at this as a great opportunity to change their lives and to have that kind of desire and the drive to achieve test match success is something that I find incredible. And Indian test cricket is lucky. They had a Virat Kohli who cared deeply about test cricket, and it looks like these younger players also want to make a mark there.
This also makes it three vital contributions from Gill in each of the wins India have had in this series, and all of them have come in the second innings. Century in Vizag, 90 in Rajkot, and now this unbeaten 50 here in Ranchi. Uh, is there any reason behind that? That Gill is someone who finds it, he, at least from the outside, he seems to find it easier to thrive in the second innings of tests as compared to first?
I don't have any explanation for that. Normally, I always have a hypothesis for everything. Sorry, yes, for this, I have nothing to offer you. But, what is to be liked about Shubman Gill is that he is prepared to go out there and try and make a contribution. So, yes, I mean, this guy has a lot of natural ability. And in many ways, when you look at the bowling attack, Jimmy Anderson is bowling well on a helpful pitch or a Mark Wood spell. Then you would say, there is some international standard challenge. But spinners, like they have, and generally overall, the bowling attack is not something that will challenge Shubman Gill too much, considering the ability that he has. Clear little limitations and areas of improvement. But you're absolutely right. Three vital contributions show that despite him not being at the top of his game, still able to make these kind of valuable contributions.
All right. As India, the management and the leaders of the team celebrated that win, there was also an important statement coming out from Rohit Sharma from the press conference, Sanjay, where he highlighted the need for hunger for test matches. He said, we'll give opportunities only to players who have the hunger to play tests. Now, this, of course, comes in light of a few developments we've seen around the BCCI, considering tweaks in the contracts, wanting players to prioritize first class cricket. Should this serve as wake up calls for certain players who are not around?
I'm somebody who believes in free enterprise. Now, the IPL is also a BCCI tournament. It's not like a rebel, tour that the players are going on. So it's really up to the individual what he wants to play, what he wants to prioritize. I don't think anybody can be forced into prioritizing this or that. But there's so many talented players around. I mean, look at Bumrah being rested and India still winning that test match. So there is enough talent around. And it's very easy to pick out guys who care about test cricket. I mean, you can see Shubman Gill, that innings that he played, 120 balls before he hits his, first boundary. So clearly he's a guy who cares about test cricket. So it's easy for the selectors to pick out those guys and also easy to know who are the players who don't care as much about test cricket. But let's not sort of, blacklist them or make them outcasts. They have chosen a different format and they want to play a different kind of cricket. So be it.
Fair enough. Let's end this on a positive. India have sealed this series win, a significant one, like you've pointed out. When we look at this, what will be the three things that can please India the most about this series victory?
Uh, I think the spinners did exactly what they were expected to do. Rohit Sharma, got the scores. He would have liked more consistency, but he did what he could. Jadeja's value as an all-rounder is coming through. Akashdeep was a bright spot, but in the end, you've got to say the young batters that are coming through. Shubman Gill, despite not scoring as many as Yashasvi Jaiswal, just that these guys are keen to play Test cricket, are keen to bat. I mean, Dhruv Jurel batted for 3 hours 40 minutes for that 90 that he got, and these are all guys who play the IPL with a lot of passion. So I think that is the big takeaway. The young Indian batters, obviously led by Yashasvi Jaiswal.
Yeah, who will have something to look forward to in Dharamsala. He's reached 655 runs. That figure of 774 from Sunil Gavaskar is part of Indian cricket folklore. It has never been threatened. But now Jaiswal will have a good crack at it in Dharamsala. Another 110 runs, another 120 runs rather, and that will be the most for any Indian batter in a single Test series. That will be all for the Ranchi Test. Sanjay, thank you so much for your time and your inputs through
Pleasure.
this test. We've got a week's break before the series concludes in Dharamsala. We'll look forward to your company in a week.